I have a question for you. Do you ever watch or share porn interests with your partner? Now you're probably thinking, Lord, no. I watch some weird ass stuff, and if my partner ever found out I watched that, they would leave me in a second. Or maybe you don't watch porn because of moral or religious beliefs, and if you ever did, your partner may think you are going against your values. Or maybe they'll think you cheated on them. Now, I have been learning a lot as a sex education student with the Sexual Health Alliance, and I've been doing a lot of research in terms of my relationship in relation to porn, and I'm going to share some of that with you today. But first, I'm going to say, hey, I'm Allie. Welcome to my channel. On this platform, we have some casual conversations about sex, relationships, and a bunch of other fun stuff. So, did you know that watching or even talking about porn can actually be really healthy for your relationship? Now, I know porn gets a really bad rap, and honestly, sometimes for good reason. But when approached with curiosity and open communication, it can actually lead to some really interesting and spicy conversations, strengthen your relationship, and yes, even lead to a better sex life. So I actually asked you, my YouTube community and my Patreon community, to share your thoughts on what you think about sharing porn with your partner. And I was actually really surprised by the results. Over 500 of you responded, and almost half said that you do indeed watch and share porn interests with your partner. So I was like, F yeah. Good on you all. But there was still 1/3 that watched it in secret. So let's get into normalizing the topic of discussing porn with your partner. First off, porn isn't this big taboo subject when it comes to most adults. Research shows that single people, partnered people, married people, they all watch porn. But because it's considered this dirty little secret, we don't ever talk about it. Now, I acknowledge fully that talking about porn with your partner is no easy task for a lot of people. Okay, one of our survey respondents said, I'm sure she knows I watch, but I'm sure she'd never want to watch it together. But as a matter of fact, it would really work well for us to share porn. I just don't think I have the balls to ask her. Raise your hand if you feel like this, because I'm sure this person is not alone, and a majority of people do feel this way. But if you're not talking about it, chances are you think your partner is not using it. And once found out, this can lead to a lot of tension, insecurities, and a lot of misunderstandings in your relationship. Dr. David Ley, a clinical psychologist and author of this incredible book, Ethical Porn for Dicks, A Man's Guide to Responsible Viewing Pleasure, argues that porn use, when not compulsive, can actually serve as a form of healthy sexual expression. He says, and I quote, porn can help people understand their own sexual interests better and can be a tool for partners to share and communicate about their sexual needs. But here's the thing, when you're actually able to openly discuss porn with your partner, you're actually building on and working on important relationship skills like vulnerability, honesty, and trust. And no, I'm not saying that you need to tease through each other's browser history or anything like that. Lord knows I would not want anyone to go through my browser history. I mean, if that's your thing, go ahead. But bringing it up in a curious, non-judgmental way can really help you both learn more about each other. All right, let's get into the benefits of watching or discussing porn together and how it can be really beneficial for your relationship. Number one, it can spark communication and new, fun, spicy ideas. Conversations about porn often lead to deeper discussions about your likes, your dislikes, some fantasy kinks you might want to try that you've never considered before, boundaries, and so on. One of the survey respondents said, in my first relationship, my ex asked me if I had been watching some. When my technique had suddenly improved, of course I said yes, and I wanted to improve my skills. I did that quite a few times, and every time she could feel it by how I had improved. So it's not all that bad. Number two, it can normalize sexual curiosity. So sexual curiosity doesn't just vanish away when you're in a long-term relationship. As we grow, as we age, our likes, our dislikes, our fantasies, they evolve with time. Lord knows my fantasies have definitely changed in the last couple of years. What I was into before is not what I'm into now. Discussing porn can help you both feel safe to express curiosity in a non-judgmental way. And finally, it can create shared fun, flirty experiences. So for some couples, watching porn together can be a fun, intimate activity that brings you closer together. Think of it as a regular movie night with just a little more spice. Someone said, "Wife and I love to watch porn together as a part of foreplay or during or after sex. It's a great way to explore and enjoy our carnal fantasies." I love that. So now I'm gonna share something personal with you all when it comes to porn use in my relationship. So I'm the one that often initiates watching porn in our relationship. And sometimes I'll do it when I want a little like slow sex-ish. I'm not really into like getting really like physical, but I want a little bit of pleasure. So I'll, put some porn on, I'll find something nice for the two of us and we'll, mutually masturbate next to each other. Or I'll ask him to find something that he likes, that he would watch by himself while I perform oral sex on him. And that really turns me on, the idea of imagining him self-pleasuring to some dirty little video. Don't judge, we're all into our things, okay? But I can tell you that most of the time in these situations, the laptop ends up being closed or falling off the bed, and it just ends up being me and him together and sharing this beautiful moment. And we also use porn to play and tease each other sometimes. When I'll walk into a room and I'll know that he had just masturbated, I'll often, single him out and be like, "What did you watch?" And he always feels a little bit embarrassed, but I think it's kind of cute. And I'm also curious to know, like, what is it that he's watching? What is it that he's into? Or he'll use it to play with me, and if I leave my laptop open and I happen to have porn tab open, he has a lot of fun going and clicking on it and making fun of me in a cute way, a cute flirty way, because usually where the video is paused is where I would climax. So he likes to go back and watch exactly where and how far into the video it took me to reach my orgasm. So we use it in a fun, playful way. It's really nice to be able to talk about porn with my partner, and we laugh about it, we get excited about it, and we don't use it all the time. It's just a tool in our relationship that, we use sometimes. Now, before we get into some tips on how to have healthy conversations about porn with your partner, I just want to take a moment to say a big thank you to all my Patreon members who contributed to this survey. And if you want to be a part of these discussions, or if you want some behind the scenes footage, exclusive details, some of the stories that I share online, you can join the Patreon community. I will link it in the description below this video. And just know if you do, you will be supporting the growth and maintenance of this channel because of the sensitive nature of the content. My stuff doesn't always get monetized, so the little extra helps, but you can also join for free. So make sure you check that out at the end of this video. All right, so how do we even start a conversation without getting awkward about porn with our partner? And again, I acknowledge that this is hard, so hopefully some of these tips will help you break the ice or just help you start thinking about it. So number one, choose the right time. Don't bring it up mid-argument. Find a time, a neutral time in the day where you're both feeling chill, relaxed. Maybe when you're brushing your teeth at night, it's the end of the day, you're getting in your cozies and so on, and you can bring it up and say, "Hey, I watched this great video on YouTube about this girl who was talking about using porn as a tool in her relationship to, spice things up in their sex life a little bit. And she was sharing this really interesting research, how it's actually linked to healthier relationships. Like, what do you think about that?" Engage their response, see their interest. If they're open to the discussion, if they shut it down right away, work with that to move forward. Number two, this is probably, they're all important, but this one is really important. Stay curious and do not be judgmental. Go into the conversation with curiosity and not criticism. Remember, we all have different experiences with porn, to never having watched it to watching it regularly. And also remember that porn is just fantasy and not reality, because there is some really weird stuff out there. Think of Rule 34 of the internet. If it exists, there's porn. Even if your partner is watching some really weird shit that you don't understand, it doesn't necessarily mean that they want to do that in real life, that they want you to do that in real life, or that they're a bad person. And if they can actually admit to you what kind of stuff they're watching, that is very vulnerable for a lot of people. So please, take that information and acknowledge that they are choosing to share that with you in a safe, non-judgmental way. And you don't want to ruin that. Number three, talk boundaries. So if you are going to start watching porn together, make sure you discuss beforehand maybe what you want to watch, what you don't want to watch, what's like a hard no, because you don't want to ruin the experience. It should be fun, it should be exciting, so start off easy, and everyone has different experiences with porn, and you just want to make sure that everyone is feeling very comfortable moving forward and that you're all on the same page with no misunderstandings. So some of our survey respondents said, wife knows that I enjoy it and says she's okay with it, but she has never shown an interest in watching with me or her own. She prefers reading romance and fantasy books that include sexy scenes. I used to talk about porn with my ex. We wouldn't want to watch it together because we had different genres of porn we liked. She was more into the hardcore stuff like extreme spanking till blood was drawn. So I love these two answers because it just goes to show that even though they are both into very different things, like I don't know a lot of people who are into hardcore spanking like that till blood is drawn, but that's okay. They talk about it, they accept it, they say, you know what, you're into that, that's cool. Let's not watch that together. Maybe we can find something that we like together, but if we don't, that's okay too. It's clear that in these two situations, they're still being open about it, they're talking about it, and they're accepting of it in their partners. So that is something really important that I wanted to highlight in these two answers. Number 4, you can explore ethical porn together. So that is porn that prioritizes consent, diversity, and fair pay. A lot of people feel more comfortable consuming this kind of content, knowing that everyone that is involved in the production process is treated well and is paid well and wants to be there, and makes for, a lot more of a positive porn experience. And some of this porn is really, really, really well done. You can check out sites like Make Love Not Porn or Cheeks, where they have, real porn made by real people. And honestly, sometimes that is so much hotter to watch. Now, finally, one big piece of advice that I learned from Dr. David Ley, the guy who wrote this great book, is be empathetic, especially men towards women, because men and women have very different attitudes when it comes to sex. So we as women have been taught that, the performance that we see in porn is maybe what's expected in real life, or that the women are exploited and abused, or that, our partner watching porn means they're cheating on us, or that they don't find us attractive anymore, or even that finding anyone attractive, outside of your partnership takes away from what you have together, which is not the case the majority of the time. So please remember to be sympathetic and empathetic if your partner is feeling any kind of insecurity about these issues. So let's address some common concerns. Now, as I said many times, I know these conversations can be very difficult to have, but ultimately it will lead to a better relationship. A study was done in 2017 of a Journal of Sex Research showed that sharing pornography interests within a couple actually led to higher relationship satisfaction, particularly when couples had positive attitudes towards porn. I'll link a bunch of studies down in the description below if you're curious to read more on the research that has been done around this topic. Now, some of you may be thinking, but what if porn becomes a problem? Because yes, it can. Like anything, porn can be unhealthy when it leads to behaviors like secrecy, comparison, or dependency. The key is to stay connected. If one of you feels uncomfortable, or if you feel like porn is having a negative impact on your intimacy, it's definitely time for some open, shame-free conversations or even therapy. There are plenty of therapists and sex therapists that are out there that have the tools, the strategies to help you overcome whatever barriers you have in your relationship when it comes to porn. Dr. David Ley also notes, and I quote, "When partners can discuss porn use openly, it reduces the stigma and secrecy that can lead to problematic behaviors." Now, if you're gonna get one takeaway from this video, I want it to be communication is key and not porn itself. So porn doesn't have to be the villain of your relationship. When approached with curiosity, respect, and clear communication, it can actually be a tool that leads you to more exploration and more connection. Also, for you men out there who are interested in learning about how to manage your porn consumption in a more responsible way, I definitely recommend you check out this great book, Ethical Porn for Dicks. I will link it in the description below. So what do you all think? Have you ever had a conversation about porn with your partner? Drop a comment below. And if you want to get more involved in these conversations, or you want to see what other people had to say about it, you could check out the post on my YouTube community page, or you can join my Patreon for free to see what other responses that people had. Maybe you can relate, maybe you cannot relate, and maybe you can share some new insight and perspective. Again, all those links will be in the description below this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new today. Je vous aime, and I will see you in the next video.